Sales of Safety with me, Pete Collins. Today, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown into top tips to get you through the OBE. So top tips under 10 minutes. I've devised a quick sort of almost a system of work for learners to get you through it. Now, first of all, read the information and invest heavily into the learner guide, technical learner information, and the new guidance that was released in April. Prepare your desk. Make sure you've got a secondary screen available to you. This will save time sort of flicking through information. Ensure that you're ergonomically set up for the day. So make sure that you've got enough space. You're not going to be distracted. Typically, you need to be able to work at full concentration levels, really. You don't need to make sure that lighting, temperature, all these sorts of things. I would recommend learners get that ready the day before. So you've got all your information, your learner providing notes, all that sort of stuff, learner number, details to log into the platform. Have it all ready at least the day before. By this point as well, though, you should have done a mock exam. So, your learner provider might give you a scenario and say, right, go and answer these questions. And then you may have a discussion on that to prepare you for it the best you can. So I highly recommend you do that as well. So that's a little bit about ergonomics of your workstation. Again, the link before the day, you go and have a look at this link. So this link will take you straight to the NEBOSH website. This is something that I commonly get learners to look into as well. I've referred to this in similar videos, digital assessments. In the certificate here, it gives us all sorts of stuff, information, plagiarism, resources, the marking scheme. It's got all the dates in there as well. So once you've downloaded the information and you've got it, before you do that, go to the HSE website and have a look at information that can help you. Now, I've also put some links into the channel to you as well. If you go into the channel, go to About, there is some links in there to HSE information that's going to help you through your open book exam as well. Yeah, so one I think of risk assessment. Now, this is a point of work risk assessment designed on the NEBOSH categories for NG2. So it really does allow us to listen to the scenario, start circling things, have it printed, circle things off that you feel are applicable to the scenario. This might give you an array of different hazards, different risks within the scenario that are present, and therefore different control measures that either are applied or could be applied to it. So I tend to say if it's not applied, put a little asterisk next to it there as well. Once you download the paper at 11 a.m, make sure again you rename it. So save it to Word, put your first name, surname, first name, learner number, and then learning provider. So make sure that's there as well. Now, I always tell learners to navigate the scenario, break it into PDF. There's a website called SmallPDF. I think you get 2 or 3 free downloads and you can go straight into there and break it into Word. Highlight the function. So again, I would use the read aloud function. So you simply highlight what you've got, you right click and then read aloud.
Highlight the word function and use to read aloud.
This is going to help you listen back to the scenario. Once you've read it a few times, you'll want to listen back to it, I feel. Close your eyes and visualize what is going on out there as well. Also, other techniques you can use are if you were to draw the scenario down, write it down, draw it down. I get learners as well to use the technique of pulling out all the positive information into a separate Word document and then putting all the negative into another. But this is used through a colour function that I use as well. Different colour schemes. So we've got red is negative indicators. If something isn't right, we're going to put it in red. Green are the positive indicators throughout the scenario. And then blue is for further information that can be used. So it might be, talking about dimensions of the site and things like that as well. So I've mentioned drawing it on a flip chart. Rank the questions in order of difficulty. Some people just go straight 1 to 8, 1 to 10, whatever they are. But I would prefer learners to invest in the question. Read them first. Think, right, okay, I'm happy with that one. That one's all right. Well, that's quite a difficult one. I might leave that towards the end. The reason for this is because your mindset is going to be adapted through answering questions and getting used to the technique to go and answer those more difficult questions towards the end of the OBE. Okay, so the rough cut system is something that I use with learners and encourage them so that they're applying the PEE principle. So what it is, you'll just take your question at the top, put it in a box on a Word document, copy and paste it from the scenario, get your question, start to dissect it in colours, start to highlight and put things in. It's going to talk a little bit about convincing the management, you'll need to highlight that. If it talks about certain workers, you're effectively becoming surgeons at this point and you're dissecting the question down. Then, once you know what you've got to go and look for, so for example, the marks is 10 marks, you'll need to extract scenario only, typically 10 separate things from the scenario that you can relate to that question. So you'll cut them and put them in one side, and on the other side, you'll use your PEE principle. So it's your point, evidence, and then explanation. And you'll carve a new answer into, you know, your second box that corresponds to it. I have done a culture question on this as well. Go and have a look at that video. It explains it a little bit more detail for you, what's expected. And then finally, again, just make sure that you look for what they want. They want to award marks to you. It is easy to digress. Remember, the term we're using is point, relevance, evidence, and prune. The word count, again, it's not a limit anymore. So I would refer you to make sure that, you know, if you're going in at 3,600 words, 3,700 words, submit it. Don't feel that you have to be drawn into that 3,300. It said you should not write no more. Now, as you know, should, it's a practicable measure. You can go past 3,300. As I've said, I've seen learners come in with 3,600 and score 61 and above. So don't be torn up over your word count. Finally then, the dictate function is quite good as well, because what this allows us to do, typically for me, I'm not very fast at typing. So here we go. You'll just find this icon here, the dictate. You'll click it. I hope you are enjoying this video. Now that is something you've got to be aware of in terms of it. You've got to be clear and concise when you do talk to it. Go and proof it as well, but it will allow you to type a lot quicker. Okay, and that's it from me, Pete Collins, Scales of Safety. We don't do it for likes, we don't do it for subs, we do it for you. Best of luck with your studies, people. Thank you very much. That was top tips on to get you through the open book exam, now commonly known as scenario-based assessments. Thank you.